Here's a live look outside to start this special edition of 3 News. It is cold and snowy this morning. We are on early to help you get through what's left of this winter storm. Good morning to all of you. I'm Danita Harris.
Hey, good morning, Danita. Good morning to all of you. I'm Dave Chudowski. Thank you for watching us live on air and live streaming on the WKYC app, where we brought you hours of continuous coverage during the height of the storm yesterday.
Yeah, our whole team was here at some point, and Matt Wentz and Brissa Bradfield are back with us as well, tracking the weather and traffic conditions. Matt?
Yeah, Danita, to get you started here on this morning, we've got lake effect snow to contend with today. We also have bitterly cold air that's going to be with us not just today, but through the rest of the week. So those weather impact alerts, yes, they continue. Remember, our weather impact alerts are when you're actually going to have to think about the weather. A lot of days you don't during the year, but they're going to go all week. They're going to go through Friday. We've got this prolonged, incredible spot of cold air that's just going to kind of stay across areas of Northeast Ohio and the Great Lakes. We're at 13 at Hopkins right now. Boy, we're getting used to this. 13 not seeming so bad anymore, but it is. Feels like 1. The wind not too bad. We do have some snowflakes falling over to Hopkins right now. Numbers range from 15 downtown, 12 to Akron. You see we're at 9s in Ashtabula, Jefferson, and out in Mansfield. But you throw in the wind, which is on the breezy side here this morning, blowing around a little bit of that powder that we have. Again, a very powdery snow fell yesterday. We've got wind chill values that are down below 0 by a couple ticks. But the cold air, these are your wind chill values all across the Great Lakes. This cold air is not going anywhere. In fact, we're going to get a couple shots of it as we go throughout the week. One arrives tomorrow into Wednesday, another one Thursday into Friday. And so we've got cold weather alerts, not just locally, but all the way down to the Gulf Coast. This is an incredible map. This isn't normal January cold. This is the real cold stuff. And again, goes all the way down to Florida, where they've got freeze warnings and frost advisories. Down in the Orlando area, you can see the lingering winter storm warnings that we have as we continue cleanup. So how about cleanup today? Well, we don't have a lot of snow locally, everything kind of heading off the East Coast. This is that low pressure that went by yesterday. On the backside of it, we do have that cold air spilling across the Great Lakes. So as you suspect, we do have some lake effect snow that's developed. It's been particularly heavy off Lake Michigan. But for us, our lake is frozen over for the most part. It's about 92% frozen. But we still get lake effect snow with help from the other lakes. And there is some moisture that comes off of the ice. But notice the snow that we have starting this morning, so we're not done. This is coming down pretty good on the east side of Cleveland right now. Back into Lorain County, we're getting a couple bursts, and I expect this to stay organized as we go throughout the day. So again, lake effect snow will be our issue today, on and off throughout the day, especially east of Cleveland. There, your temperatures not doing a whole lot. We'll talk cold temps from here and more snow in the forecast. It's going to be a wild January week. We've got it for you coming up. Meanwhile, big important day on the roads here this morning. How are we looking, Briss? Any cleanup?
Cleanup has happened. You know, plow crews have been very busy. There's hundreds of ODOT trucks out overnight, and the roads are plowed. It's just now the cold, and so it's a layer of ice underneath some of it. Here's 271 at Cedar Road. Drivers passing on through the Pepper Pike Beechwood area. As you can see, lanes still not really visible. Usually there's about 3 lanes here in each section. Right now there's maybe 1 that's passable, and that was kind of the quote of the day all day yesterday. Passable, not perfect, is what crews were busy making sure those roadways were. Taking a look at the big picture map, usually we do see all green on your screen, right? Well, now we have all this yellow and orange, and that's all the slowdowns that we are seeing in those reduced speeds. And speaking of reduced speeds, if you're traveling through Lake County this morning, we still have that speed reduction in place through these eastbound and westbound portions of Lake County between Route 44 here and 528. That speed reduction is down to 40 miles per hour. And just some slow moving roadways out there right now. Usually it would take you about 7 minutes or so, 6 to 7 minutes between 480 and I-90. Right now that stretch of 77 in those northbound lanes can take you about 10 minutes to get on through there. And the level 3 snow emergencies, that means those roadways are closed and you could face fines or even jail time if you are caught on area roadways. That still includes Huron, Erie, and Sandusky County this morning. Dave.
All right, Brissa, thank you. It is 4:34, and with this week's brutal cold, several cities across Northeast Ohio are activating warming centers for those in need. Akron is extending hours at the Summit Lake Community Center through tomorrow from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. Meanwhile, Akron's emergency overnight warming shelter will stay open through Friday from 7 p.m. until 8 a.m. And in Cleveland, 4 rec centers will be open. You can see them on your screen right there. Today, the shelters will be open from 11:30 a.m. until 10 p.m. All right, let's get a different look at the road conditions now this morning.
Yeah, Candace Hare is in the car getting a first-hand look at what drivers will face this morning. Good morning, Candace.
Good morning, Danita and Dave. Well, I can tell you what, I'm on I-77 South going through the western part of Akron right now as we make our way down to Stark County, down to Canton, ultimately. where we saw some of those higher snow totals. As far as here on the interstate, though, I can tell you it's a little bit of everything. When you look on our screen right now, you can see that the roads in this portion are pretty clear, but I can tell you just about 2 minutes ago, the road was completely covered. So it really just depends on where you are. Very spotty at this point in time. We have seen plows out here working. In fact, at last check, ODOT has over 1,200 plows out throughout the entire state of Ohio. And that's something to keep in mind again. This wasn't just us, this is snow that we saw all throughout the state. So crews are working statewide trying to get this cleared out. Because of the cold temperatures, ODOT says they're having to use additives because salt is not as effective. And they said it's working, but it does take more time in order to get things all thawed out on the road when they use those additives. So something to keep in mind. Again, it was something we'll be saying all morning. If you do have to head out this morning, just make sure you give yourself a little bit of extra time. You certainly don't want to be out here racing around on these roads because things can look okay in one portion and then very quickly become much more difficult to handle. We'll send it back to you in studio.
All right, Candace, thank you very much. We'll be checking in with you all morning long. And now that the brunt of the snow has passed, be sure to stay off the streets. In certain areas, parking bans have been issued in several cities across Northeast Ohio. This includes Cleveland, Cuyahoga Falls, Elyria, and Lorain County, just to name a few. In Akron, parking bans do not start until later this morning at 7.
And this blast of snow is also impacting air travel from coast to coast. We know yesterday alone, more than 11,000 flights were canceled within, into, or out of the country. Today, that number is more than 3,600. This is all according to FlightAware. Here at home today, Cleveland Hopkins is reporting 25 cancellations for departing flights, 23 for arriving flights. So if you plan to head to the airport today, make sure you check Hopkins' website for the latest impacts.
Despite dangerous conditions on the lake, our cameras captured several people out on the pier at Edgewater Beach. Officials are warning people to stay off the ice on the lake, reminding everyone that no ice is safe ice. And get this, right now more than 92% of Lake Erie is frozen. And today, several courts and offices in Lake Huron, Cuyahoga, and Summit counties will be closed. That includes Summit and Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Courts. Akron Municipal Court will only hold arraignments. All other hearings will be rescheduled. And we want to thank you to those of you who sent in your pictures and videos of your experience with this weekend's snowstorm. We have compiled a gallery of what you sent us on the WKYC app. Just scan the QR code that you see right there on your screen right now to check them out. We also have that gallery on our website.